the state. We'd like to thank, of course, North to Shore, Prudential, Financial, of course, thank you for the bag, NJEDA, NJM Insurance, United Airlines, CRDA, Xfinity, Outfront New Jersey Division of Travel and Tourism, and, of course, the city of Newark. So once again, welcome. We're going to, oh, of course, I'm sorry, I would be remiss. I forgot to thank, of course, Rutgers Newark and the Institute of Jazz Studies, which is allowing us to have this event in this wonderful, beautiful space, okay? This is a beautiful, beautiful jazz club. I hope you guys take it all in, enjoy yourselves. There's food in the back. We got DJ Sienna Chanel on the 1 and 2s. We got our featured guest, Just Blaze, who is on his way, en route, okay? We got some hip-hop royalty coming here into the building tonight. Everybody behave, okay? Be on y'all best behavior. Just kidding, but not. Y'all know who you are. Shout out to RAH DIGGA, which is why we are here tonight. She is the moment. She is the icon. She is the queen. And we're going to get started here shortly, but y'all enjoy the music, enjoy the food, enjoy each other, and we're going to be in for a treat. We're going to have this live podcast experience coming up shortly, y'all. Get some drinks in the back and enjoy yourselves. Take it away, Sienna. That's what I'm talking about. One more thing. Y'all, this is also a fundraiser. Let's not forget that, right? Because this is for RAH DIGGA's nonprofit, the Lyrics Matter Foundation. It is a hip-hop music education program. There are QR codes on your tables. Pick up the flyers. Make sure you donate something. Give a little something, 1, 2, 3, because all of this is here for y'all to enjoy tonight, courtesy of not only our sponsors, but the foundation. And of course, this is for the hip-hop education program that is going to be an ongoing foundation. RAH DIGGA has just come back from overseas teaching her hip-hop education curriculum, which is extremely important. We're going to be looking to partner here with the schools in the city of Newark, so it's very important that we give back. So don't forget, come out your pockets a little something, okay? The QR codes and the flyers are scattered on the bar and on the tables. All right, back to it. 1, 2, 1, 2. Once again, thank you all for being here for the Lyrics Matter inaugural Salon Series event. I need to feel your energy in the room right now. This is part of the North to Shore Festival. We got Just Blaze in the building. Clap it up for that. Legends, brought to you by RAH DIGGA and the Lyrics Matter Foundation. Once again, there are donation cards on your tables around the bar. Make sure that y'all make a donation to the foundation. We're going to get started just shortly with our live podcast experience. We're just waiting on a couple more VIPs and our councilmen to come. And we are going to be starting shortly. Once again, enjoy the beats by DJ Sienna Chanel, and y'all are in for an experience. Just hang tight. We about to get started, y'all. Take it away, DJ Sienna Chanel. 1, 2. We got Councilman Dupre Kelly in the building. We're going to get started shortly. Sienna, keep going, Sienna. We're going to get started shortly. One, two. We're starting the countdown. We're going to get started shortly. Everybody find a seat. Hey, DJ Sienna Chanel, I need you to throw on some Just Blaze records. What's your favorite Just Blaze records? Yeah. What we we're going to play more because he got 11 million. Let's go. I know. Sienna Chanel. DJ, y'all give it up for DJ Sienna Chanel on the 1 and 2s. We need to get some energy going in here right now. This is a passion project, so we need y'all to have the same amount of passion for being here as we have for y'all being here. All right. The man of the hour is back. Okay. All right, without further ado, these lights are bright. All right. Welcome, y'all, to the inaugural Salon Series Lyrics Matter event. Thank you for joining us tonight. This, of course, is part of the North to Shore Music and Arts Festival. Thank you to our sponsors, of course, Prudential and North to Shore, for being here to be able to put on this event. Now, the two artists that y'all are about to see, they're going to have a conversation, an intimate conversation out here. It's going to be like a live podcast experience, but this is very special because we have someone that not only is a legend in his own right, but a lot of people don't have access to, right? So one of the best things about this intimate event and this intimate experience here tonight is that we're sharing with each other the wealth of knowledge that we have, and that the people, and of course, obviously, RAH DIGGA, who put this whole thing together, the Lyrics Matter Foundation, is just incredible. It's an organization that is here for hip-hop education. This is something that is very close and near and dear to our hearts. DIGGA has been doing this for a long time by herself, mind you. And it's not something that, excuse me, my phone is going off. But she's taken this around the world. She's taken this experience, this curriculum that she came up with this shit. This is her brainchild. This is something that she has worked on passionately, quietly, behind the scenes. And it's something that our children need, and it's something that's going to pass on to the next generation of hip-hop entrepreneurs, artists. And we celebrated the 50th anniversary of hip-hop last year, didn't we not? Did we? We celebrated, right? Now, this is special because it's about what's going to happen next. And how are we going to pass this down to our children? And what kind of knowledge can we share with our children to know that there's more to the music industry than just being a rapper? There's more to it than just writing a rhyme. And let's be clear, a lot of these new artists don't even know what it is to write a rhyme. Can we talk about the mumble rap and all this new stuff that's going on? You know, how the women in the industry are being exploited. Let's keep it real. Like, we're talking about two artists right now that are coming to the stage that have not only paved the way, but they are continuing to pave the way by making sure that they are the ones that keep the culture moving through the next 50 years, through our next generation. And these children, they need this education. They need this education, and that's what this foundation is about. And I would be remiss, and I don't want to put you on the spot, dude, but I do want to get you to come up here and say a little something, because can we talk about how we have Dupre Kelly from Lords of the Underground? One of the things, and he's especially important to this movement because he has made the transition from being a hip-hop artist in the streets of Newark in the 90s, coming up, traveling the world, to becoming the first hip-hop artist to be elected to public office in these United States of America. In the United States of America, in the country. And now he's here as a hip-hop artist. And I remember when he first said that he wanted to run for office, people didn't believe in him. What could this rapper possibly know about public access legislation, politics? What could he possibly know about that? Well, guess what? A whole hell of a lot, because here we are, and we're not going anywhere. And I didn't plan to do this, but I do want to get you to come up here and say a couple of words. Councilman, West Ward Councilman, Lords of the Underground legend, Dupre, do it all, Kelly. Real quick, come up here and say something.
Thank you, Lex. Make some noise for Lex, y'all. I mean, I don't want to take up too much time. I'm ready to see the two stars that are the two legends that are going to get up here and talk about lyrics. Lyrics matter. You know, Digga's like a sister to me, man. We have that camaraderie just through hip-hop, just being in the streets of Newark, New Jersey. And I thank Lex for her kind words, because it's not easy being an elected official. It's probably easier being an MC. You know, but being an MC, that's the cloth that I'm cut from, right? I used to like Run from Run DMC, right? He wasn't the best. He's not on the top 10 or 5 of anybody's lyric list, but you gotta put him on there as an MC, right? Like, he taught you how to MC. And once I learned how to MC, I always felt like you had to say something too. You know, Newarkers, we pride ourselves on being lyricists, right? Like, I mean, you got RAH DIGGA, you got Redman, you got Lauryn Hill. You know what I mean? So we pride ourselves on being lyricists. Hey, shout out to my brother, Mr. Funky Man. And, you know, so when you talk about speaking, you can speak things into existence. Like if you listen to all of the hip hop that I've ever written, whether with Lords of the Underground or features, you can tell where I was in my life. That's why they try to use hip hop against us, right? They try to use hip hop against hip hop. They try to use our lyrics when it comes to court cases and things of that nature. They don't do any other artist that way. That's because we're the closest thing when it comes to artists and when it comes to our lyrics. We're the closest, well, when I came up anyway, we were the closest thing to being real life. You know, of course we exaggerate it because that's what lyrics do sometimes. You express yourself through exaggeration. But one thing I was taught never to do was never to lie. So when you listen to my music and just go back in the day, you know, you can kind of tell what I was doing. You can kind of tell if I had a girlfriend. You can kind of just tell if I was just out here chilling. You can tell what I was sipping on, drinking on, if drinking at all. You could tell if I was in the gym. You could tell what I was driving. You could tell if I was just riding with somebody. You could tell if a couple of nights, if it was steak and lobster or if it was, you know, the chicken shack or them oodles and noodles. You can tell, you know. Even like you can tell where I was going to wind up here and still fighting for my community, you know. Right off South Orange on the block of 19, across 13th Ave. That's my stomping ground. Like, all of those are real lyrics. You know, we talked about what we did. We talked about what we felt. We talked about what we were next to. You know, when you express things, lyrics, you know, anytime you speak words, you're speaking things into existence. Speaking words, I just look at them as spelling words, right? They cast spells. You know, when you repeat a chorus over and over and over again, like if I say, they not like us. They not like us. Yeah, y'all gonna say it, right? Because when you're repeating something over and over again, it gets into your psyche. And then you start to correlate it and relate it to who you are and where you are in your life. And then you start to realize what he's talking about. Yeah, they not like us. Right? So it's the same thing, man. I want to salute RAH DIGGA for doing Lyrics Matter. Yeah, make some noise for RAH DIGGA. Because we have to remember that one thing that I used to stick by when I was younger, Charles Barkley had a saying that, you know, I'm not your role model, right? And of course I bought into it initially. But then as I started to get older, I started to realize Run DMC didn't tell me to take the shoestrings out of my Adidas. I just did it because they did it. They didn't tell me to rock the Godfather hat with the leather. I just did it because they look cool doing it. If your children, if the youth are watching things that look cool doing it, then they're going to copy that. They're going to portray that. They're going to do that thing, you know? So we got to understand that lyrics matter. You know, Drew, I do a program with my son at Westside High School. We just finished it, but it's called Hill Music to Drill Music. Drill Music to Hill Music. And what we did is we took all of the drill sounding beats and we took these young artists from Westside High School and we just told them, drill music, people don't realize drill is to kill. You know, in Chicago, it was kill music. They just called it drill music, and they really was killing people. Instead of talking anything negative, we told them to speak your life, but don't kill anybody on the record. Try not to talk negative. Just speak your truth, because lyrics matter. The way that you teach somebody something is the way that they apply it to their life, right? So if you're teaching a young, youthful mind about if you're just pounding pause, if you're just pounding, if you're just putting negative scenarios, if you're just putting negative scenarios into people's minds, what do you think they're going to start taking on, right? They're going to start taking on that thing. So I'm not going to be long, man. I just want to say, man, I salute RAH DIGGA for really doing this Lyrics Matter. I salute her for having the legend, you know, coming up here, man. My guy. You know, I remember when he used to do, I'm going to let you get his mic back, but I remember when he used to do the, when we had two-way pages, man. I just wanted a two-way pager beat from Just Blaze, you know what I mean? And he was the guy. I remember Fabulous used to always say he got his joints from him, you know, but salute to Just Blaze for coming out and having a conversation with North's Queen. Lyrics Matter.
Councilman, do pray, do it all, Kelly. All right. So before I bring the woman of the hour up here, I don't know if a lot of y'all know, but this woman has bringing this hip-hop education curriculum worldwide and literally just got back from being in Taiwan for 3 weeks teaching this hip-hop curriculum. And we all talk about it, but we very rarely get to see how hip-hop impacts children and youth and just across the globe. So without further ado, we're just gonna take a look at this video right here. Take a look at this video screen of her time here in Taiwan. Take a look.
The biggest part of hip hop that has kept me going really is my love for the culture. I mean, I've been immersed in it since I was a child. It's definitely something that just pulsates through my veins, and I think I get the most joy in watching new generations of artists really just love and appreciate the culture as much as I did. Hip hop has come so far, and to see young people really interested in the roots and culture of it and not just the monetary gain. The fact that there are still artists now that care to learn about the history, so many different cultures, so many different races of people. No matter where I go in the world, there's a cultural hip-hop community thriving, and just excited about it as I was when I was that young and first starting out. So I think that's the thing that keeps me going, watching the new blood, the young bloods really get into it. I'm anxious to see what they've learned from my workshop and how they apply it to their future endeavors. You know, you still have to push through because nothing good is easy. You know, if you want to reach your greatness, you're gonna have to stumble. It's not about how many times you fail, but it's about how many times you brush yourself off and try again. So to all my students, I say good luck. I love y'all. I feel like y'all my babies leaving the nest. I really look forward to seeing you guys in the future, and just good luck with everything, and just do what it takes to keep going, man. Just keep striving. To see that they care so much about it and treat it as a culture, because hip hop is a culture. Of course, it's a genre of music for some, but I think it's all the things, and I think it should be studied. I believe that if we treat it with that importance and that seriousness, then other cultures will do the same. So it's important for us not to make a mockery of it, and to show people that it's not just a young person's sport. Like, there's lessons to be learned throughout all the ages, and I'm just excited to watch it grow and continuing to watch it evolve, and happy to play my part, whatever that looks like. It's all part for the course, and at the end of the day, that's what culture is all about.
All right. So you see how she took that all the way to Taiwan. I ain't gonna call y'all out, but some of y'all ain't even been out of New Jersey. But without further ado, I wanna bring up the founder, the reason for the season, while we're all here, my best friend, okay? The incomparable, the accomplished, the legendary, the RAH DIGGA. Everybody get up. Now I'm gonna need for y'all to get up. Get up. Get up. Lyrics Matter Foundation, RAH DIGGA in the house. Take your mic, baby. Take your mic.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I got to keep this in arm's length, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm a woman of a particular age, so I ain't got to explain. How are you? Thank you so much for coming out. This is the official relaunch of Lyrics Matter, and we're calling it the relaunch because I created this foundation back in 2015. It was a brainchild of mine, and we shut down the in-person workshops due to the pandemic. So now we are officially opening it back up to the students. So this is why we are, celebrating it, bringing it to y'all in this way, because we now are, actually accepting kids back in the classrooms. But I want to talk to y'all a little bit about the foundation, how it came to be. So like I said, I started this in 2015. And one day I just asked myself, I said, what more can I do to reach the youth? Because, if you're an artist, if you're an MC, there comes a time when the next generation comes and the next generation comes, and the next thing you know, maybe the rhymes that I'm saying may not be connecting with the newer generation or the newer artists. So rather than beat them in the head with the ways of roots and culture through cussing them out through the music, I said, let me do something a little more slick. Let me create a program where I can get my message and the message of the culture to the youth one way or another. So 2015, I come up with this program. I step to MIDI, and I say, I want to do this for the city. I want to put on for the city. So I get to working with the city. It brings in kids, and then the next thing you know, I have schools contacting me saying, hey, is this just like a get a kid off the street kind of program? Because, we got some music and arts kids in school that actually want to participate. So then I started connecting with the schools. Next thing you know, I had neighboring cities like, is this just a Newark thing? Can we get this in Irvington? Can we get this in Orange? Can we get this in Jersey City? So now I'm venturing out to the neighboring cities. Next thing you know, I got the burbs calling me and the college calling me like, hey, is this just a young kid thing? We have some grown kids that want to take this. We have some kids from the suburbs that want to learn about this too. So now I venture over here. Next thing you know, I have New York, I have Philly calling me like, well, is this just a Jersey thing? Can we get this over here? And before you know it, I was in Taiwan. Fast forward to today. Thank you very much. So I just want to break down real quick the components of my workshop. So I basically modeled it after the 4 elements of hip hop. Well, we know there's 5, including knowledge, but there's 4 components of the workshop, and I have them broken down in this way. So one of the first components of the workshop is the rap techniques portion. And yes, it is a rhyme writing class. But it's deeper than just writing rhymes. It's writing exercises. It's, I make them keep journals because one thing I like to encourage, I like them to write with pen and pad. I try to get them away from the screens, away from digitizing, and just kind of getting back into their own brain. And so there's plenty of science out there that supports the actual mental health benefits of physically writing. It exercises your brain in ways that you don't get from looking at screens all day long. It retention skills, ADHD, it lessens anxiety, it lessens depression. I mean, there's a multitude of health benefits that come along with physically writing with pen and pad. And it doesn't help to encourage people that want to be rappers to write their own rhymes, or at least learn how, attempt to. So that is the writing, the rap techniques portion of the workshop. Another portion is hip-hop history because, as I stated in the video, I believe that hip-hop is a culture, and it was a culture created by us, for us, and it should be valued the same because guess what? When you go anywhere else in the world, you have to learn their culture. You have to learn the laws of their land. When you go to school, you're forced to be taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America and all of these things. So I believe that we should be, we should be drilling to our kids, our pioneers, our Run DMCs, our Cool Hercs, our Shy Rocks. it is a culture that the world is benefiting from. Hip hop is the #1 export in America, and everyone reaps the benefits, sadly, but us. Another thing, another portion of our workshop is hip-hoppreneurship. So this is where we get to talking to them and just kind of exploring where it is they want to be in life, teaching them about, creating visions for themselves, creating goals for themselves, creating realistic timelines. You hear so many people say, well, my plan B is plan A has to work. And while that may be true and while that may be encouraging, you also have to be realistic with yourself. So we teach people how to create what I call parallel plan A's. It's not necessarily like if you give up on this or if you fail at this, then you just gotta abandon your hopes and dreams. No, there's plenty of avenues that you can take that would still keep you in that field. And oftentimes what I learn, I have so many students that come into my class and I want to rap, I want to do this and do that. And then they come into class and they bomb. But they end up being a better engineer or a better, the things I pull out of them, they realize, well, maybe I'm not the artist I thought I was, but I would be an awesome manager. I would be an awesome, brand manager, things of that nature. So I basically help people pull things out of them or see things in themselves that they didn't even know exist. Often, I have so many students that come to my class, they're so shy and so introverted, and by the end of the class, they like Beyonce. they come out of their shell, they get to feeling themselves, and it's a good feeling to watch. I love to watch them, watch the flowers bloom, if you will. And lastly, most important, I think it's the most important part, is the artist development. Lord have mercy. It is a dying thing, but we have to bring it back. We have to keep it alive. I mean, it's an extension of the hip-hoppreneurship, but I like to call it home training for rappers. But there's a lot of things that are, a lot of things happening with these artists that I feel like could be avoided with just a little better guidance. And the labels are doing it. What the labels are doing now is they're looking to see who's popping on social media, whether positively or negatively. Oh, this person has a beef. Oh, okay, they dissing the ops in the videos. Okay, let's jump on that. How do we monetize that? How would he capitalize off that? That's what the powers that be, that's what the establishments are doing to these artists. So we have an artist development sector where, we have media training for them. We have therapists for them that help them balance their personal life with their professional life. Because a lot of these artists, they don't have that. They're just getting money thrown at them. They just killed somebody like 3 days ago, and now they, they just got like a $2 million advance, and they're just off to the races, and who knows what that looks like. So we try to groom for the ones that really are serious about being artists. We try to help steer them in a positive direction, teach them about money management, teach them about their brand management. We have mental health advocates on staff. Dr. Stephen Drainoff, one of my colleagues in the back, renowned psychologist. He's on our board. So, this is more than just pumping out a bunch of rappers on an assembly line. This is really about developing our youth. This is my way of building a community. And we know that hip hop is the best teacher of all. Hey, let me tell you something. The U.S. government, the United States State Department, is pumping out money to send hip-hop persons to conflict crisis countries where politics don't necessarily work for them, but they know hip hop bring the people together. Oh, they'll send the rappers out there like, hey, work with these kids, kind of take the temperature, see where their mind is at, and they know the politics and the attitude and the things like that is gonna come out in the music. So that's what they're up to. So I said, you know what? All right. y'all can use hip hop, but I'm not gonna let you misuse hip hop. If you're gonna send some folks across the globe to teach hip hop, let it be the people that actually care about the culture and care to see it done right. So yeah, count me in. So that's what I've been doing with my time. And overall, I just want to say, you know, I couldn't do this alone. I have so many people to thank. I want to thank Kim Ford for helping me put it together in this manner. Thank you to Alexandra Hill, our PR, to, you know, get the word out and just let folks know. And you'll see things on social media, and there are QR codes all over the tables and stuff. We definitely we need donations. It takes a village, and for everybody that feels like, you know, what can I do, or, you know, what can we do to help the direction of these kids, this is something that we can do. And it doesn't just benefit the youth. It actually benefits our OGs, our elder statesmen. Like with foundations like this, if I'm teaching a hip hop history course, I can pay a Kool Herc. I can pay a Dougie Fresh. I can pay somebody who was there from the beginning to teach people properly, not this professor from Arkansas who's getting a 6-figure salary to teach hip hop in this university and that university, because I do those too. I do master classes too. And everywhere I go, the professors that are teaching hip hop in these academia spaces look nothing like us. So, you know, this is me doing my part to pay it forward, keep the culture alive, and hopefully you all can do your part too. There's free food, there's free liquor. We've got T-shirts in the back for sale. All the proceeds go to the foundation. And yeah, man. And I'll be at the merch table. See, people be gelling off me because I sell my own merch. I'm like, listen, it don't make no sense for me to be over here in the corner talking to folks and everybody want to take pictures over here, and I got stuff to sell over there. So y'all want to come talk to me? Meet me at the merch table. Simple as that. So we're going to keep it moving along. I'm going to bring my esteemed colleague on stage. You all know him very well. He needs no introduction. He already got an introduction. Grammy Award-winning producer extraordinaire, my guy, my friend and yours, Just Blaze, everybody.
Get up. We need some energy. I need y'all to clap it up. Get it up. Just Blaze in the building.
Hey.
Just Blaze in the building. And wave. Hey.
One, two.
Thank you.
So I'm not about to sit here and like interview you. Like we're not about to have a Hollywood Unlocked segment going on. We just gonna talk.
Okay.
We just gonna talk some talk. Don't mind if I put this fan on, do you? Okay. So, how about that Kendrick and Drake? No, I promise I ain't drag y'all here to talk about Kendrick and Drake. But no, seriously, what you think?
It was interesting. I mean, we definitely have never seen anything like that in hip hop ever. We've had some great historic battles, you know, but that was this generation's, you know, Jay and Nas, or, you know, Modi and LL, you know, Shannon, Chris, like that was, but it was that times like 100.
Times 100.
Just the barrage of songs. I mean, they basically, if you put all the songs together, you have an album, right? Like, and the frequency at which they were being released, and not just the frequency, but it was like, oh, he put one out, hold on, give me 30 minutes. Right? And I think that's the difference. Like, one of the things that I was wondering, I said, yo, if we had social media and the internet as it exists now, like in 87, 88, like, what would that have been like? Because, you know, one of the differences back then was you had to go to the studio, record the record, put it out, wait for them to hear it, say something about you. Now they got to go to the studio, you know, cut something. Red Alert might get an acetate, so he's playing it at wherever he's playing, you know, the quarter or red zone or whatever. But then like the masses don't get it outside of that to be able to buy it or really take it in on their own for like another month until the records was pressed. Now it's just like record it, release it, you know. So it's that definitely I think played a part in the spectacle, which is, you know, the tools are different now, so they can just unleash barrages of music. But overall, you know, they kept it on wax, which is priority number one, right? And,
Right.
And I don't think between the two of them, and I mean that respectfully, I don't think we really had to worry about it going off wax. They're just not those kind of guys. But that said, like we've seen in the past many times, it's not the guys we have to worry about, it's the guys, right? So, you know, you think about it, whenever you hear about an incident involving rappers, it's never the rappers themselves, it's the entourage, right?
Right.
So, but overall it was good for hip hop. There were definitely some highlights. Some lines were definitely crossed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and maybe that's part of a generational difference too.
You know what's interesting? Because I did see a lot of elder statesmen express like dismay in the battle. I'm like, hello, were y'all around when Jay was like skeeting in the baby seat?
Right, but then but remember but remember at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, Jay went to the radio the next day and was like, that might have been that was a little too
He did.
far.
He did.
You know, and he you know, I don't want to say he apologized, but he was just like, yeah, that was too far. You know, at a certain point, it's like
There was a time, like, as much as I was enjoying it, I think there was one point in the battle I was like, oof.
yeah, like
Ooh.
once the real serious allegations start getting thrown around without concrete evidence and proof, it's like, yo, yeah, now we're I think it might be time to cut it, and that's right around the time that it did get cut.
Right.
But overall, there was some great, it was a great battle, but also just some great musical moments.
Exactly.
You know, some of the beats were really dope, the rhymes were dope. It's good for hip hop overall, and I think it ended where it needed to end.
I agree with that. Speaking of, because I know with today's music being released, and we have a different kind of technology that just makes it microwavable almost. Do you see technology like hurting or helping the culture?
It's the gift and the curse, and I mean, you could say this about anything, right? Because all these tools that we have now, whether it's streaming, the ability to stream music, the ability to upload and download videos, the ability to talk to somebody in real time across the world through social media, AI, you know, artificial intelligence, all these things are just tools, right? The danger, the potential danger or potential benefits lie with the end user. You know, so when you see certain things happen, it's really not about the tool, it's about the person using the tool. And are they gonna use it for good or evil? Are you gonna use it for good or bad? You know, a lot of people are up in arms about AI, but it's like, I have mixed feelings about it. As a tool, it's an amazing thing, but like any great tool, it can be misused, right?
Right.
And I feel like it's only a matter of time before like somebody pushes a nuke button or something because somebody AI'd a video of a world leader or a government leader saying X, Y, and Z, and one leader of a particular country is like, oh, word? All right, check this out. Boom. Right? Like,
See, I'm one of those people that are anti-AI for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, I grew up watching Terminator like on repeat.
oh no, Skynet is here.
So I'm honestly, you know, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not about to work side by side with the machines to replace the humans.
Right. No, and that's why I said it depends on whose hands it's in, right? I think it's a great tool. And I think here's the problem: is what started out, or what I supposedly was initially developed with the intention of augmenting our lives, augmenting our jobs, being able to assist with our jobs. The shift at some point changed to, in some spaces, to this can replace the people doing the jobs.
Right.
And that's the problem. Like,
Right.
designed to assist, you know, in the construction of a building, yes, not replace the construction workers.
Right.
You know, and it's capable of a lot of displacement. You know, from physical labor. Now don't get me wrong. Nobody likes the idea of slaving over whatever it is that they have to do when you work a laborious job. But you take that away from that person, they now have no means of feeding their family, right? Now, at the same time, for younger generations, I think the upside is that with the advent of these new tools, it creates new things for them to be able to study and move forward. So, like, maybe there's a changing of the guard where, the idea isn't go get a job as a construction worker. Mm-hmm. It's go get a job learning to code things that supplement artificial intelligence to support construction systems. Mm. You know what I mean? So it's like one door closes, another one opens.
Right.
I think adaptation is key. My son is now 6. He's been in coding classes since he was 5. Since he was 4. Coding and robotics. Proud dad moment. He just graduated from his coding.
Yes.
Hold on. He just graduated from his coding and robotics program, top 3 in his class last week. Was one of only 2 students that was actually asked to present a project to the audience, and also one of only 2 students that was asked to speak on behalf of the program. But that's kind of the time that I've been on. It's like, listen, we can be afraid of it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being afraid of it or being concerned with it. But, at the same time, all right, how do we exist in a world where this is going to become the norm? Start training the kids now to be able to not just accept it, but learn to work with it, learn how to, and be a part of advancing it. Otherwise, you'll be sitting at home talking about ain't no jobs.
And that's why lyrics matter. That's why I'm teaching them to utilize more of their brains so they can always be one step ahead of the technology. Because I do remember, like, early on, I remember when Aaliyah passed away, God bless her, and I know she was in the middle of filming Matrix. They had just finished.
Thought it was Queen of the Dam.
Well, here's the thing: they were finished filming Queen of the Dam.
Okay.
She had just started Matrix, but with Queen of the Dam, it takes about a year. It takes about a calendar year to edit a movie. So when they needed her for voiceovers,
reshoots and stuff,
they used AI and I believe they manipulated her brother's voice to to sound her to fill in some of those voiceover slots. Right. So that was a situation where I could see AI being an upside to AI.
Or for example, like Beanie Siegel. Call a couple months back because I was the hoarder at Rockefeller, like the organizer. I kept everything. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to get as many of his old vocal takes and his acapellas and whatnot as possible. Because he doesn't have his voice anymore because he got shot and had to collapse lung. Right. So like he's working with an AI company to train an AI node on his voice so that he can record again. DOC is working on the same thing. Oh. So, like, in situations like that, that's amazing.
Yes.
But like,
we don't want a posthumous Prince album.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
Yep.
Exactly. So there's benefits to it. You know what I mean? Again, it's really a tool, but it's a matter of what humans do with these tools. And for lack of a better word, a lot of humans are fucked up, so they're gonna do fucked up things with these tools.
Right. Speaking of posthumous albums, how do you feel about that? I don't like them. I feel like if the artist is not here to yay or nay something, it shouldn't be used.
I think it's a case by case basis, right? Like, say for example, I have this project that I've been working on for years in my spare time, which is really just instrumental music. A lot of it isn't even really hip hop. It can be adapted to hip hop. But a lot of it is based on like 60s and 70s compositions, right? And there are some pieces that are finished. I would say probably like 9 or 10 of them that are complete start. The idea was kind of like a soundtrack to a certain movie that didn't exist. Now, say God forbid I pass tomorrow, and my wife or a family member has those first 10 songs. I would not be mad at that, but
do you have a musical mind that you work with that you trust, like in a situation?
Well, that's what
like
I was
that,
also gonna say.
This person gonna make sure it sound like what I expect it to sound like.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say is that there's certain people in my circle that would know what would need to happen from a musical standpoint and things like that, right? what I now the creative in me would hate for somebody to take a bunch of half-finished ideas and present those, right? Like let's just say I had like 10 half-done Jay-Z songs, right? And somehow somebody secured the rights on his end to get the approval to put them out, like in the state or something. I would hate for those songs to see the light of day because I haven't considered those works finished, right? At the same time, I understand why fans would want to hear that because there are many people that I'm a fan of, right? And I think for me, I probably take it in a little bit differently because I enjoy hearing people mid-creative process. Like I love to coming across tapes of demos and, you know, like early versions of songs but it's because of the nature of what I do for a living. So I appreciate the journey, like, yo, they started here, they ended here, right? Oh, he changed this verse, he changed this line, the producer changed this snare, or the producer didn't have this drop. I appreciate that as part of nerding out because of what I do for a living. You know, so I think it's a case-by-case thing. You know, like when it's an obvious, clear money grab, I'm not into it. You know what I mean? But when it's done with the care and love of people who are part of that artist process, and in some cases the artist might have left instructions or discussed the vision for the project with them, you know, extensively. So like, and it's with people that know how to move how he wanted to, or how they wanted to move. I could get behind that.
Okay. How do you feel about rappers that don't write their own rhymes?
I love this topic, especially with you.
I feel like we have this debate all the
yes.
time. Oh, y'all get to hear us in
I
action.
knew one of the two of us was gonna bring it up.
Oh, you know I was coming for you.
Yo, I think I've gotten to the point in time in my life I don't care. I don't care anymore. You know, now it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate when somebody does, right? It's kind of a thing where it's like, where do you draw the line, right? Because I don't know one single rapper that hasn't ever gotten an assist. And by that, I mean like one of your other homies that also rhymes in the room with you or just has an ear for something is like, yo, you should say that line this way instead, right? All right, cool. And none of us would mind that.
Now,
right?
see, I don't consider that. I don't consider that somebody writing.
I'm
but
there.
you okay?
I'm getting
the
there.
6 degrees. Okay.
Right.
Come on, walk the dog.
So it's like, all right, nobody bats an eye at that, right? Or nobody bats an eye at somebody saying, yo, instead of this line, you should say this, like, your metaphor was this, but this sounds iller and flows with it. All right, cool, nobody bats an eye, right? Who are any of us to draw the line at a certain point? It's kind of like you have some rappers who are great, amazing lyricists, can't write hooks, right? So if you look at some really great rappers, their hooks are always features because they don't really write good hooks, but they rhyme like nobody's business, right? Nobody bats an eye. So at what point do we say, all right, now it's too far? Because to me, it's like, I'm not there to judge that. At the end of the day, is the song good? Is the performance good? That's what I'm going to look at first. Now, in the case where it's just like, here's the song, just rap it over, which is
when the reference tracks start leaking.
Right. At that point, when that happens, it's kind of like the people that have traditionally happened with. Some of them can write their ass off as well, right? I've been in the room with them, and I've seen them write amazing rhymes. But when that's happened, it's kind of like, I understand why people are taken aback by it. I'm surprised sometimes. But at the same time, I'm like, well, is that smart? Being in an era where rap music or certain faction or portion of rap music is essentially pop music, and pop artists 9 times out of 10 don't write their songs, right? So now I'm not gonna bestow the same accolades on somebody as a lyricist and a writer if it turns out that they've had a ton of ghostwriters. I'm not putting them in the same box as, say, somebody like you. So to me, it's like, it's apples and oranges at a certain point. That's why I say I don't really care. It just makes me appreciate the ones who are sitting there writing their rhymes, you know, with as little assistance possible or whatever. Like, it just makes me appreciate that more. You know what I mean? But like, if somebody doesn't write their rhymes in 2024, all right, whatever.
Now, I feel you.
Oh, look, I'm gonna add one more thing.
Okay.
Because performance is a big part of hip hop as well, right? And 99% of the time, when these reference tracks pop up, the performance is nowhere near as good. Like, I don't want to hear that person's take on the song. It's all right, cool. Heard it. You came up with the words. He's the person who actually made it a song and made it a performance worthy of listening to. Another thing is like, one thing that I've done for rappers, where I'm not writing their rhymes, but this is a trick that I learned from Pharrell early on. If you have a certain cadence in mind, I'll go in the booth. Or if I have a certain cadence in mind, I'll go in the booth and give them 3 minutes of cadence, right? Of like the flow. So it's like, I'm not saying that I did this for Freeway, I did it, but he was the first artist that came to mind, right? So how does What We Do start? We still art. So I might go in the booth and be like, I might give them 3 minutes of that. Now I did not do that for Freeway. That was all on his own. I'm just using that as a reference because that's a song we all most likely know. But like, is that considered ghostwriting?
I wouldn't consider that ghostwriting.
Right, but he didn't come up with the flow, and the flow is part of being an MC. So that's what I'm saying. At a certain point, there become so many variables. I just say, fuck it. I don't care. But I do appreciate people who do have the ability to just go and write 15 songs, 12 songs, whatever it is, all on their own for the album. It just makes me appreciate them more.
Okay. I see your point. I'm gonna write you. So here's my take when it comes to the writing aspect, right?
Right.
And as far as like somebody writing a hook for you, to me, I consider the hooks actually, I equate them more to the instrumentation of the track than the actual rhymes, because even though it brings the song together, like I've had beats presented to me with the hook already in them, and I don't feel like this person wrote for me. You know what I mean? Right. I feel like they included this melody, these words, in this hook along with the track, you know, presented it as one package. And hell yeah, I'll take one of them. Now, when it comes to actual verses, because I feel like part of emceeing is the fact that you are, you know, it's supposed to be your brain, it's supposed to be your story. Right. So I understand now in 2024, we in the microwave era, you know, you have rappers that are artists that are larger than life now. They have to, you know, mass produce at a rate that we never had to. Like, we were happy dropping albums once a year. We can ride that album all year. We can tour. By the time it gets to the West Coast, and you know, 3 months later, 6 months later, you getting overseas. It's you know, it has a whole new life over there. So I understand now with the internet, everything is so instant that rappers really don't have enough time to use their own brain to keep up with the stuff. So I understand if you're an artist and you are of that caliber where you are literally part of the machine, you are helping, like you're no longer in the ethos of the rappers, like you're literally part of the machine and you're pumping stuff out. I see where folks are assembling the team.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's at that point, and I'm glad you touched on that, because I didn't want to keep over talking it, but that's one of the other things that I was gonna say, is that at a certain point, if you're expected to put out, it's not even, remember, back in the day you might have had an album every 2 years, right? So you got to tour, you're writing while you're on the road, and it was just a different respect put on lyricism, so there was more pressure for you to hurry up and deliver that next album and write those rhymes. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, all right, we just put out a 10-song, project. In January, we'll have these 2 videos shot. We're back out in the summer. All right, shoot 2 more videos. Now we have the full-length album for Christmas. We'll be back next spring. And you got features on 7 albums over the next 3 months. There's just no way, I think, to...
Like the business of hip hop now is making it difficult for for a lot of these artists that probably want to be that integrity artist, that culture artist, but they have a system, they have a deadline.
I think you hit it on the head when you said they are now part of the machine, right? And I think the one other thing I gotta say, I think the only time I think I would really be disappointed is if it was a thing where it was like this artists never wrote any of their rhymes. They've put out 7 albums, and every single song was written by somebody else. So the majority of these 7 albums was written by somebody else. To me, that's the wool over the eyes. Mm-hmm. If it's a situation where it's like, this person can write, this person does write, he or she also just has also gotten rhymes from other people. Because some of our favorite rappers, who shall remain nameless, have gotten records from other people over the years, have gotten rhymes from other people over the years, and I think there's a few of us in here who know certain stories and certain things. So it's like, and have we pulled them off of a pedestal? No.
You a sucker MC if you don't write
right, okay. Okay. Not to interrupt y'all, but we're going to start the Q&A portion of the night, right? Because this is an interactive live podcast situation. So anyone that has questions, raise your hand. You can come up here to the mic and ask it directly. Okay.
I would like to mention a couple of talking points too, just to kind of stir the minds of the people. So we've got corporations profiting from the beef and the demises of our artists. Who can gatekeep in the present day? Who do you guys see that's relatable to the older generation and the younger generation that could command that respect to help in regards to gatekeeping? And will we ever see a balance again where we have culture and corporate working together, as opposed to all of the female artists looking this way or all of the male artists drilling that way? When do we see that balance, or will we ever see that balance again? And also, what does the next 50 years of hip hop look like? What should it look like?
Right. Wait, so real quick, Naomi Yane from News 12. News anchor and reporter extraordinaire. Come on up here so the people can see.
This is the lovely woman.
So she's got a question.
Anyone
segment. Else that has a question, please come up. Don't hesitate. Come on. Naomi.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. All right, so my question originally was, but you already said they will remain nameless, was who are some of our faves, who have had people write for them.
We can't do that.
I mean, what do the kids say now? I'm not going to spill the tea.
Yo, folks would leave out of here in tears if we started telling folks who ain't write they rhymes.
Fair enough. And you
from the 80s and the 90s and so forth and so on.
Fast before I even got up here, so I'm not going to ask it, but that was my original question. Right. However, as you brought up the next 50 years of hip hop and what that looks like, how are artists from some of the original, from the first 50 years of hip hop, right? How are they keeping up right now? I imagine that you all have, you guys are boots to the ground. You've got your ear to the ground. You're talking with these folks. These are your colleagues. These are your friends. How are they keeping up with the way the industry is changing?
I think in my case, a lot of folks are still able to get money overseas because they appreciate, I think, the art form over there. Like, we have a tendency to be honest, take it for granted, right? Because it started here, we grew up with it here, we've been there, done it. There are so many other parts of the world where the awareness started 20, 25 years later, 30 years later. Like Digga was just talking to me about last night about her experience in Taiwan, where they're kind of in their golden era, right? So I know certain artists who you don't see moving around in the States at all, but stay moving throughout Europe for 6 months a year and still able to, take care of themselves and feed their families. I think in the case of producers, it's tougher because we're many times reliant on what our income traditionally is reliant on what's happening right now and what the sound is right now. And so many producers, not just from my initial era, but just in general, the turnover rate, it's gotten faster and faster with each generation, especially now with the technology to make music and do production and make beats is so readily available. Like the phones that we all have in our hands and pockets are capable of producing an entire album, right? So in many ways, it's harder for the producers to keep up unless they think forward. And many of them have, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna take the time to sit there and, or to sit here and talk about everything that I have going on right now. But I have quite a few projects on the table that, while rooted in hip hop, do not involve making records, right? On the tech side, especially on the tech side, you know, and still doing well, and probably, to be honest, making more money now than when I was running around doing 20 Rockefeller records a week. I'm fortunate and I'm blessed, but that came about from me having the foresight to diversify 15 years ago and start planting those seeds back then.
Not to mention that RAH DIGGA Just Blaze album dropping in the year. I'm
Oh,
kidding.
Speaking
Wait,
no.
no.
Speaking into it.
Pam, 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 pam.
But it will also just, it actually has been fun, and I will add you to the list. It actually has been fun over the last few weeks, or sorry, last few months, reconnecting with a bunch of my old rap friends and banging out records. I mean, nobody thought that they were going to see a new LL record featuring Ross and
and
LL,
how fire is that?
Are we
record?
dropping tea?
and a new Bleak record like dropped the same day.
Yeah.
Right? So and they were both really good records.
Dope. Yeah.
You know, so there's still a lane, there's still an avenue. I think this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this. I'm sorry, Digga.
We brought you here to talk. Speak.
I feel like there was a certain generation of artists who, when they tried to evolve with the times, I'm talking like, you know, from previous eras, when they tried to evolve with the times, instead of evolving that as artists, instead of evolving as artists and growing
They
along
chased
with
the
who we are,
trend.
yeah, they chased a trend, right? So all of a sudden, you used to be such and such, and now you're a gangster rapper, or you used to be, you know, the ladies' man, and now you're the whatever, right? And instead of just growing with who you are, you know what I mean? Because a career should be an evolution, like, right?
Exactly.
When I came into the game in '96 or whatever it was, '97, like actually being in the game. What I was making and writing back then isn't what I was making in '98. Wasn't what I was writing in 2005. Wasn't what I was doing in 2010. There's ways to still be true to yourself and evolve instead of saying, all right, I need to chase what's hot right now. And I think that's the
right.
reason why I don't get because of the ventures that I have going on now, I can't take as many of those calls. But like my phone has literally never stopped ringing.
I believe it.
You know, it's just the opportunities that I had to say yes are lesser now, but I appreciate the fact that I still get those calls. But yeah, it's my point in bringing up the previous eras was I think we're at a point now where, like I mentioned, the LL record or the Bleak record, and there's a few more that are coming along those lines where it's like I feel like there's a certain sect of artists who are just happy saying, you know what? I've grown up. I'm 40 now, 45, whatever it is, 43. Let me just make music that people my age would appreciate.
God bless Nas.
And you're right, Nas is another.
God bless.
Amen, amen.
And there hasn't been previously. I don't think we saw a lot of rappers that wanted to do that, let alone knew how to do that.
Right, because the last thing I think I speak for the whole room we want to hear is 50-year-old drill rappers, right?
Right.
Right.
All right. So our next question comes from Kenneth Gifford, who is the executive director, the Newark Film Festival here, the creator and founder of the Newark International Film Festival. He is a major stakeholder here in the city, and I'm proud to have him here. Kenneth, take it away.
She makes it so difficult to ask a question. So as an iconic artist and an iconic producer, my question is, what do you think is needed to bring hip hop back to what it was in the golden days, and if it's even possible to do? And when I mean that, I mean artists back to the LLs, to the Runs, to the Diggers. Like, for the new artists that are coming out, is it possible? And if it is, how do we bring it back to that?
You want to go first?
So, honestly, I think, I think the biggest problem I see with the generations is when, oh God, I hate to sound like the old head to say back in my day, but you know, when I was learning hip hop and studying, and it was growing, like we were still literally on the heels of the civil rights movement. So there was just a different struggle going on with music at the time, and I felt like that was reflective in the music. It was it was KRS-One, it was the teacher, it was the lessons, it was the, whether Wu was teaching us the mathematics. There was just a different, I guess, laws of the land, if you will. Fast forward to today, this generation, they're so entitled and they're so, aloof to like real struggle because they get it so easy, and they just get it a different way. They really don't understand the concept of like hard work. Everything has to be like immediate with them. So I feel like the energy and the passion and the messaging really in the music is just going to be different because it's not the same struggle. Like all they know is getting to the bag, getting to the bag, getting to the bag. We didn't know about getting to the bag. It wasn't a bag. Like my goal for hip hop was literally getting an opportunity to go on Yo MTV Raps. Like, to me, that was if I work hard enough, one day I'll be on stage with Ed Lover and Dr. Dre. Like, that was my goal. So fast forward to today, I think the goals are different. So I don't know if we're ever going to get that same kind of balance, but I do think this recent battle, kind of struck a chord with everyone, no pun intended, struck a chord with everyone that kind of like just reassessing or reaffirming, if you will, the importance of roots and culture and just, the ways of the Jedi.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Before you talk, right? Because in the sake of time, we want to have time for one more question. So go ahead, Blaze, answer the question. We got one more question, and then we have to have time for mix and mingle. So go ahead.
I'm not going to say too much more than what you said. I think, hip hop in previous generations I think we're witnessing the first. I want to put this the right way since this is being broadcast to the world. Hip hop of previous generations, say for example, from the beginning up until maybe 92, actually I would go further, maybe 95, 96 was all offshoots of different genres of black music. Whether it was that people rapping on James Brown beats for the first 10 years, right? Moving past that, people were then rhyming on jazz breaks, they were all, there's all different offshoots of our parents' generations, or our parents' and grandparents' generations, right? So, and there was struggle and messaging present in the music that we were using as sample sources. Like you said, we were coming off the civil rights movement, right? So we had our party rappers, but we also had our Chucks and our Cubes and everybody else.
It was very black and I'm proud.
Right. I didn't want to say that. That was literally what was in my head.
Oh, say it.
But it's the lineage. Like if you trace musically, just on a musical standpoint, if you trace where a lot of the origins, a lot of the styles that the kids are rhyming on now, they're not rooted in anything like that, right?
Exactly.
So they don't really have much to call back to to pull from. That I feel like that's one thing. Also, I feel like golden era is subjective, because if you ask a 15-year-old, right, when he's 30, what was the golden era, he's gonna tell you it was right now. Remember when Kendrick and Drake battled? Remember when Uzi Vert had I Wanna Rock? Right? That's going to be his golden era. So we got to be mindful that it's always going to be relative. In the era where we first come into awareness of who we are as people, the movies that we watch, the music that we consume, when we are first figuring out our identities, that is going to be our golden era. And while we have to guide the youth, while we have to advise the youth, we have to make sure that we do not say, you need to be like this and be like us, right? Like, allow them to find their own path. They just need guidelines, which is why I love what you're doing, right?
Lyrics matter, ladies and gentlemen.
At a foundational level.
Okay, hold on. Well, the powers that be have given us a little extra time because the people want to have a few questions, but we're going to try to still keep it tight so we have time for Mix and Mingle. Tayshawn?
Mix and Mingle and merch.
The 3 M's, 3 M's.
So this question is for both of you. You talked about the criteria that you have for writers and rappers. Is there a criteria you have for producers as far as what makes a legitimate producer?
Well, let's talk about the definition of a producer.
Talk about it.
And now, oop.
When I first came into this game, right? And he's in a whole other different lane of hot water now that we're not gonna touch or bother to get into, but like, I used to have serious issues with Puff, right? Because I would look at all these records and be like, produced by Sean Puffy. He don't know how to use a drum machine. He don't know how to, take loops and chop them up or program an MPC or an ASR or a 2080 or a Triton. And get a little bit older and you realize Quincy Jones never touched a Lindrum when he made Thriller. He didn't play every single string on Billie Jean. That was a 36-piece orchestra. He wasn't the one playing the tuba on this and then running around and playing. No, he had the vision, right? He knew what the record was supposed to sound like. Michael brought him "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough," and then Quincy had to go and produce it and make it into the record that we know. Okay. Right? As I got older, I realized, all right, you watch a lot of the producers that were under Puff. When they all branched out and did their own thing, the records ain't sound the same. The records didn't hit, right?
Right.
You would still see, and that's not taking anything away from any of those producers as individuals because they were all amazing, right? But there was a certain cohesiveness many times that was missing. So while he may not have been pushing the buttons, he knew who to get to do what, right? So like, it's great if you're a producer or if you're a beat maker who can also produce. Okay. Just understand that like, the job of a producer is much more than making a beat. A lot of artists produce themselves and don't even realize it. How many times have you gotten a beat from a beat maker and never seen them again? The song is out. You recorded. It's mixed. It's out.
So you've got rappers and beat makers, and then you have artists and producers.
Exactly.
You have MC and you have producer.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there's a very big difference, and the realization of that made me drop my fear or not even fear, but like my resistance to collaborating with people. Because I used to feel like I had to do everything. I had to program the drums, I had to drop the sample, I had to play the keys, like I had to fake the guitar and tune it to the E chord, right, and just strum or whatever it was. I felt like I had to do everything myself, and eventually I realized there was beauty and success in collaboration, and I remember one of the first jewels I ever heard Hove drop. We were all in a room together. There was a bunch of us.
Let me find out you got ghost producers.
No. No, anything that you ever see my name on, it was me. It just might not have always been solely me.
I'm just messing with you.
No, I know. But one of the first jewels I ever heard Hove drop was there was a bunch of producers in the room, and it was a little bit of a weird situation where he wanted another producer to clean up something that somebody else had another beat that somebody else had laid down. And there was a little bit of a resistance to the idea. And Hov was just like, listen, are we here to stroke our egos or to make the best record possible? Right? And I wasn't in, I just kind of witnessed the conversation. But, you know, his whole point was like, you know, we're doing what's best for the record, not what's best for ourselves. And I was like, you're right. You know, so yeah, like, I think people need to understand that.
That sounds like some Kanye and Bink or something.
You
ain't gonna say that. No.
No, but seriously, so and ultimately the producer's job is to execute the vision and deliver the finished record, you know, by any means necessary.
All right. Next question. Clap it up for that answer. I mean, y'all are getting the jewels dropped over here. To be a fly on that wall, my goodness. All right.
My husband's here.
Oh, yes. Shout out to Troy Weeks is in the building. Clap it up, clap it up. Okay. All right. Now, the questions are starting to pour in, but, you know, the powers that be gave us a little bit more time, so we want to keep it tight because there's 2 questions we want to get in, and then we can get to the mix and mingle and back to the music.
And the merch.
And the merch. And the merch. All right.
Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Dranoff, and I'm working with DIGGA. And I can't in good conscience not say what I'm going to say, because DIGGA tonight said something that's very profound that everybody should leave with, and I would love your comments on it. She said something about we need to reach leaders and organizations, and this is so profound, and you need to know why. I run a center. I'm a psychologist. I have a practice. I do a lot of training throughout the United States and Europe. And I run a center at Fairleigh Dickinson University that is basically an international center for the training and research for empathy. And in our country, actually the world, we have the lowest rates of empathy. And to quote a 5-star general who I just talked to in the Air Force, who's interested for the Air Force in empathy, he said that throughout the world, we have so much anger and aggression and disconnection, and we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to cure it. We don't know how to make it better. And he said, if we don't, this is the kind of stuff that leads to world wars. And that's pretty profound in itself. What DIGGA said, and let me just, I'll try and be quick. I know you're on time schedule here. What DIGGA said was to try and reach organizations and leaders. What she's doing by going into companies and her foundation is a way to begin to reach leaders, because they set the pace of the culture in the United States, probably in the world. And when we can reach them, and you start to reach employees, and you start to reach their families, all through kids, you're helping people. Instead of disconnecting, you're helping them to connect. We can't do a better job than that, and what a great way to do it with music. You know? So, I don't know if you have any
Indeed.
comments.
Awesome.
One thing that I would say, I mean,
Thank you so much.
We
Dr.
need
Stephen
to-
Dranoff.
we need to reach leaders, but at the same time recognize leaders like DIGGA in doing what she's doing in programs like this. You know, you talk about pent-up frustration, pent-up anger, and things like that. And I feel like that's because a lot of us, to be honest, I know some of the happiest people that I know, not the richest, but the happiest people that I know are those who get to do what they love and be able to make a living off of it, right? Whether it's a large living, small living, whatever it is, right?
See, that's the hip-hop entrepreneurship component of my workshop.
Well, that's
how to turn your hobby into a career.
Right, and the thing I was going to say that's great about this is it allows people to learn how to take their natural giving gifts and be able to utilize them in ways to make a living, as opposed to the usual go to school, maybe graduate, get a job, have a couple kids, retire, get a gold watch or a gold toaster, depending on where you worked, retire and die, right? Like, the only 2 parts that really need to happen is being born and dying. In between that, it doesn't have to be that pattern that so many of us get stuck in. And that's why programs like this matter. So salute to you.
Thank you.
Pam, pam,
Thank
pam,
you.
pam. Lyrics matter. Lyrics
Don't
matter.
worry.
Final question.
I'll be calling you to teach the
I got
producer
you.
workshop.
I got you.
We got the final question here from
Are
my
you-
sis,
did you have
who's
a
also
question
a.
too? Okay.
Do you want to do two more?
And we'll
Okay,
do-
y'all willing to do two more?
Yeah, she's
Okay,
actually
clap it up for two more. Clap it up for two more. Wait, hold on. Who's going first? Okay. I'm sorry, sis, I didn't get your name.
Shy.
Shy.
Thank you. I'm gonna break off of what you just said about like monetizing the hip hop. I've been doing hip hop since a little girl, so I'm decades in, and I wanted to know from both of you, because I love Digga, growing up listening to you.
And we got a song
Eve.
together. Look how
Yes,
hard work.
and we got a
Look
joint
how hard
together.
work and perseverance pays off.
Thank you, because that was a blessing. Like, wow. I wanted to know from both of you, what advice do you have for like female MCs like me that's not in their 20s, that's, you know, just now coming out? I've been doing the work, and I'm at the point now where I'm trying to monetize my love and passion for this, because hip hop is life. Like, I'm gonna be doing this forever, you know, in some way, shape, or form. But what like advice and maybe motivation do you have for female MCs like me?
Well, from the female MC perspective, I would say, and you know, you mentioned age. I would say, you know, definitely, I think marketing yourself is key, is everything. But also set realistic goals for yourself. Like, unfortunately, there comes a point in everybody's life where they have to like be realistic with themselves. Like, okay, I've been at this for this, you know, this long. This isn't going the way I want it to go. So then ask yourself, well, what's a good parallel that I would still be happy doing? But, you know, it may not be, you know, this thing, but it could be like a cousin of it. And I say, for me, it's always writing. Like, as long as you can write, as long as you're talented enough to be able to, you know, craft that music and keep your pen going, I feel like there's nothing you can't do. If you can't do it yourself, ultimately, you probably can sell songs. You can, you know, you can do voiceovers. You can do, I mean, I'm just, you know, thinking of stuff off the head. But for the most part, when, you know, Father Time is undefeated, like, you're not going to look the same. You're not going to, you know, you're not going to have the same energy. You're not going to be your same self. But, you know, you can't stop this. Like, as long as you have your mind and your wits about you, you'll always have a career. That's why that's why I'm so passionate about the writing component.
Agreed. I mean, I feel like she's covered a lot of it. In terms of like motivation, you know, they always say rap is a young person's game, and that's kind of been historic. Like, you know, because a lot of times you look at the '80s artists, right? And to us, because especially in my case, because they were so young, because I was so young, I looked at them as being like grown men. Meanwhile, Rakim is like 17.
Right.
Nas was like 17, right? They just seem like
Prodigy was 19.
Right. Not even. I mean,
when he made Shook One. When they made Shook
no,
One. Right?
That was the second album. They were.
I thought they were 19 at the second album.
No, I think that was. Was it 19 at the second? So yeah, like 16 on the first album. Yeah. So
they were
yeah,
like
so
19
like, right.
when they made Shook One.
So, and you know, like, to contrast that, right? Like, we all know, say for example, Jay Electronica Exhibit C. Right, which kind of changed the face of hip hop for that era and opened a lot of doors for a lot of the MCs that we revere now. Like, it was the first time in many years that you had heard a slow ass rap record with nothing but bars and no hook on mainstream daytime radio, probably like in 10 years. We were like, what, mid-30s when we did that record? Yeah. He broke out like in his like nearly mid-30s. And literally changed the face of hip hop, right? So like it can be done regardless of age, but like she's like Digga said, Father Time is undefeated. You know, that was a miracle, but it's proof that miracles do happen, right? That said,
Samuel Jackson got his breakout role when he was 40, right? I always
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you never know. Like, even like Reasonable Doubt, I think was 27, right? So it's like. But he had been putting in the work for years until he finally took his destiny into his own hands with Damon Biggs and said, we're going to put it out ourselves. And we all saw what happened. He's now sitting on billions of dollars, right? So it can happen. But I think one of the things that, with both of the artists that I just mentioned, people never see the first 10,000 hours, they see the end result, right? Consistency, especially in this day and age, because so much of the music is microwavable, whether or not you intend it to be. There's just a constant barrage of music now because anybody can do it. So like the days of like, I'm putting out this song and shooting a video and then in 6 months I'm back. No, you're back next week. And the week after that, and the week after that. I hate to use the word content because it minimizes the work that goes into the art. But it doesn't always have to be music, whether it's music this week, a video the following week, a live stream the week after that, a collaborative thing the week after that, another video showing you in the process behind the scenes of writing the record that you put out the month before. Constant contact is how you build, is constant contact and consistency. Say that 3 times fast, goddamn. Constant contact and consistency is like, I'll give you one example and then I'm done with this. The kid, what's the half white, half black kid with the glass? Logic. Right? Whether you like the music or not doesn't matter. The way he built his fan base was genius. He would do shows playing for 30, 40 people in a city, right? And do a small tour where like he was literally opening for whoever and he's playing at 7 p.m. so there's only 50 people in the building. But then he would watch online and see where the positive responses were coming from. Come back to that city 6 months later, right? And just keep doing those same markets over and over. But as he was doing those same markets over and over, the radius got bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm in Boise, Idaho for 50 people. 8 weeks later, I'm in Boise, Idaho for 100 people, right? Gave a good show. Now I'm back in Boise, Idaho for, a month later for 250 people. That's what I mean by consistency with your contact, right? You keep building that fan base. It doesn't have to. The shows he only went from 50 people to 250 people, but you fast forward 4 or 5 years later, he's playing Terminal 5 sold out for 8,000 people, right? So the consistency, I think, is probably paramount, almost more so than anything else.
Free jewelry. Are y'all picking up what they putting down? Okay. All right. Final question, because we want to get to mix and mingling, right? Final question from Queen Moore, who's a poet, artist, teacher, culture shifter, culture maker here in the city of Newark. She's got a question. Final question.
That was impressive. Thank you. So this question is for both of you, being creatives and musicians. For me, as an educator, usually in the classroom, I let children listen to music while we're doing artwork, while we're drawing and painting, and the first thing they run to is something that is highly inappropriate. How is it, as both like major artists and musicians, how is it for you to remain integral to the work and not like fall victim to the pressure of doing what everybody else is doing in the field just to sell records?
Woo! Beep, beep. Okay, well, I could say for me, really just my character as a person, like a lot of it just really started from home. I mean, growing up and even like once I got into the business, like there were certain things I was definitely afraid of to do in life just because I didn't want it to affect my career in any way. Like I was scared to death to have sex with guys because I was scared that one of them might film me and then it would then they would put it out and it would ruin my career. I didn't want to have fights because I didn't want it to mess up my face for my album cover. Like every move that I made in life literally was, I don't want this to affect my, my view or my people's view of me in any way. I didn't want to put myself out in any sort of, sexual nature because I didn't want it to get back to my dad. Like, I was always concerned with my, my dad. Like that was really like for me. And everybody's motivation is different, but I think, now I just think it's important for, programs like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm about to toot. I think it's important for programs like this to exist, because all they have are the corporations telling them, yeah, I think you need to, I think with a boob job and and a butt lift, you'll be perfect. You just gotta, just be a little more, urban, more black, it's like you have these other powers influencing our children, convincing them that this is what they have to be in order to be successful. And there's not enough of us saying, whoa, you can actually do it this way. With actual talent. And not to say that there's not talent in all, in all forms of it, because I personally, I don't have a problem with mumble rap. I call it contemporary scat. Like I think there's a, I think there is a genius and a art to, we talked about that. I think there's there's an art to that, that's a particular dialect from a region that may or may not, we may not be familiar with it, but hey, over here in this land, it rocks. So I just try to understand and appreciate everyone's input, and I don't like to knock anyone's hustle, because I do believe everybody should be afforded the opportunity to change their life. I think it's up to us, the people that really, that are rooted in culture, to help guide our babies.
What she
Amen.
said.
Clap for that, please.
I can't say that. I can't follow that. What she said. No. I really, she literally just said it all. Me personally, I think as a producer, I ended up in the spotlight. It wasn't really my intention, so I didn't have to worry about a lot of those same kind of things. For me, it was just, I actually preferred to stay low. It was interesting for me. I wanted my name to be known, but I didn't want to be able to not walk down the street without getting mobbed. Right. So if you ever notice, in my career, I always kind of played the middle ground. Yeah, I'm in some videos, but I'm not all in the videos. That was kind of a conscious decision, right? Yeah, at a certain point, you gotta here was my goal, to let the music speak for itself. However, make sure that people know who made the music. Right. And that's why, the Just Blaze drop had to be. It was how do I let people know that I did this record, right? And this is my little, I guess, we call it branding now, right? So I'm all right, I just had to put my name on records. And, it worked out in the end. In the beginning, it was a total misfire, because people thought that it was just a new thing that rappers were saying on records. Everybody says Just Blaze at the beginning of their records. So then what happens is one or two records that I had nothing to do with came out, and the artist was like, Just Blaze? And I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus. But again, in the end, it worked out, and it served its purpose. But that was always my thing, be able to just,
live, not be a prisoner of the fame.
Right.
We want to be able to show up to the club and skip the line and get right in VIP, but also get in and out of Target unscathed.
Yes.
That's right.
Exactly. So yeah.
I think that concludes our
Before we
program.
shut it down, I also just want to say, a lot of people don't realize this. I'm actually literally home right now. I went to Rutgers, Newark.
Oh, hey!
Whoa!
Give it up for Rutgers alumni.
Not only
Come
that,
on, are you alum?
Not only that, but
Wait, y'all do know Just Blaze is from New Jersey, right?
Patterson, shout it out.
Okay, just making sure.
My major was computer programming. My minor was jazz studies, so it's even iller that I'm in here.
Come on now.
I was told that my favorite professor retired some years ago. I was somehow foolishly hoping that 30 years later he'd still be teaching. But you know, this is dope. This is dope. Thank you for bringing me here.
Oh, thank you for showing up, man. Appreciate it, man.
You see how that comes full circle? You see how that comes full circle? Because I am also a proud RUN alumni.
A word.
And we are in Clements Place, which is run by Rutgers University and the Institute of Jazz Studies. Shout out to them for allowing us to have this venue tonight. Now, Wayne, do we have... You got... Come on up here then, Wayne.
This reminds me.
Keep it tight, Wayne.
Right.
And it took a minute for some of us, for us old heads, to realize how, this one young rapper said to me, he said, how did they say, as a producer, they said, Wayne, we're Jazz's grandchildren. We got your clothes on, you just don't recognize it. I'm telling you, it's still with me, it opened my head.
Right.
And y'all, of course, y'all were digging in the crates with all the jazz stuff. Y'all are going through the same thing, man, but I'm telling you, it's an important conversation because something keeps getting lost.
Right.
You study jazz. You talked about Quincy. That's a great example. It's like when I was a kid, I would get Quincy Jones records, and I used to read a lot of those incessantly, all that second engineer and tone. And I was like, Quincy don't play no instruments. Quincy was a very fine trumpet player, by the way, and piano. He wrote arrangements with Count Bass and all those music in his 20s. But at that point, he didn't play anymore. And I used to say, man, what does he do? How is it under his name? Exactly as you said.
He steered that ship.
Exactly. No, it wouldn't have happened without him.
Right.
Anyway, y'all, I'm talking too long. I just want to say this is critical for our people, for all people, y'all. Right. Not just us. Right. Because we're driving this boat in some instances, right? In terms of pointing the directions, giving people a way out, helping them make sense. I always say that great art reminds me that I'm human. When I remember that I'm human, I can see the human in you. Thank you, Black man. We got a podcast studio on campus. I don't know where you record your, you don't need us, but if you chose to do it at Newark, we get you things in your pocket shit, because I think this conversation has to continue, y'all. Oh, you don't
I'll say this, Blaze, welcome home.
Thank you.
Welcome home, Just. You home, and we're here for you. And Wayne, thank you for that. That was absolutely amazing.
Thank you for opening your home to us.
Absolutely. And that's amazing because that's what makes this conversation come full circle. And that was amazing. In close. Now, Wayne gave us a little bit of free time, right? So we are going to keep this moving, even though the conversation we have to wrap. But everybody mix and mingle. Come up here, take photos, conversations. Wait, hold on. Closing remarks. No, wait a minute. Closing remarks. For both of y'all, closing remarks. Also, hashtag everything that y'all post tonight. Please hashtag Lyrics Matter. Tag Lyrics Matter organization. This is just the beginning of what we're doing with this Lyrics Matter Foundation and Digga. And this is a part of a series of events that's gonna come up. So stay tuned. This is only the beginning.
So really quick. What you're seeing on the tables here, I have the RAH DIGGA music on one side. That's actually like my website where you can kind of just keep abreast of what I'm doing, music, show itinerary, RAH DIGGA merch. On the flip side of that, I can pull it out. On the flip side of that is the actual foundation site, lyricsmatterfoundation.org, and that's all things encompassing the foundation. Also, there's another card on the table. Let me see. No, it's not this one. Here it is. It's this one. So this is also the website, lyricsmatterfoundation.org. And again, you can see all of the foundation stuff. And on the flip side of that, here's the QR code to the merch. The merch is lit. Like, do y'all see what I'm doing over here with the merch? You see this jacket? So the bottom QR code is, this is the QR code that takes you straight to the merch, and all the proceeds go to the foundation. Everything is tax-free and free shipping for the merch, so the price you see is the price you pay. And this big box here, that big baby here, that's the donate QR code. So please, 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 $1, $10, whatever your heart and pockets desire. Every little bit counts. Like I said, all of this is for me to accrue the materials that it takes to put on these workshops, to pay our legends and our pioneers, the Just Blazers, the folks that I need to come and drop these gems and just keep our community thriving and keeping the culture alive, man. That's all I'm trying to do. Thank you so much for coming out.
Wait, closing remarks, Blaze. Closing remarks to our possible future board member. Go ahead, Blaze.
Oh, me? I gotta say more. Okay.
I want to sit on the board.
No closing remark. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, thank y'all for coming out. Thank you, Digga, for having me. Like I've said a million times tonight, I think what you're doing is amazing. It is necessary. I'm here to teach whatever you need to teach, whatever you need help with, to assist with. I'm here. I've always been here.
Thank you so much.
And thank y'all for listening to us talk. Spread the word. And remember, lyrics matter. So do beats, by the way.
Yes. DJ Sienna Chanel.
Too.
Everybody mixing mingles. We're taking pictures. We got drinks still in the corner over there by Bel Air.
It's still food left. We
There's
actually got some more
left.
rolls.
Mix and mingle.
I'm gonna
Take
throw some
pictures.
more rolls in the pan.
Hashtag lyrics matter. North to shore. Just Blaze. Okay, y'all drowning me out by the music, but it's all good. Thank y'all for coming out. No, y'all don't gotta leave yet. We still got a few minutes, so stick around, get some drinks, get some food. Love up on each other. Hashtag everything lyrics matter. DJ Sienna Chanel, take it away.